So the next thing is I'm going to do is when you do more wallpapering, you're going to come across some obstacles. You can't avoid it. So I'm going to show you how I get around these obstacles. So one of the main things is a plug. And this is a really simple, I mean, it's easy to do. It looks different, you know, you think, oh my gosh, how am I going to get past that? But actually it's easier than you think. So when I do a plug, I just unscrew the screws on it. And this is the same for a normal sort of wall socket as well. So I just loosen them up a bit as much as I can. And you can see that's your plug there. So we're going to leave it like that, okay? And then when we come to the second bit of wallpaper, I'll show you how I'll negotiate around that. So I'm going to put the second strip of wallpaper up, and then we'll come back and you'll see what the wallpaper, how to do wallpaper around a plug. So I've got my second roll now, which I'm going to put up, and I'm going to butt it up against this piece of wallpaper here. So what I want to do is try and find the pattern, because I've got it in a roll. It's quite good because it means that I'm sort of in control and I can sort of get a good start on butting it up. And I haven't got too much of an overhang at the top, otherwise it falls down. It's really annoying. So you want to have a sort of small amount. So then what I'm going to do is come down rolling, unrolling, and then looking at the joint and pattern matching, and then just smoothing out as I go. And I've got the plug at the bottom, remember, I've got to try and negotiate that, but I'll show you how to do that. And then I'm just going to keep pulling the paper in, smoothing it out. And if I need to sort of make it, butt it up, then I can take it off again and then move it. But because I've got a roll in my hand, it's I'm sort of in control. I'll keep smoothing it out. Keep coming along, pattern matching it. I'm concentrating on this line as much as possible. And then I'm coming down to the bottom now. So I'm just going to keep going along the bottom. I'm not worrying about the plug yet. I'm going to come to that. So I'm just going to pattern match my way down to the bottom. Then I'm going to get my the smoothie tool out and give it a bit of a smooth. Don't worry too much yet about the plug. Just ignore that. So I just need to get my smoothie tool, which is just here. And I need to get my so I'm just going to smooth it out now. I won't cut the top off yet until I've done the plug. So under here we've got the plug, okay? So what we've got to try and do is negotiate the plug. So what I'm going to do is sort of push it back in a bit, as if it was in position like that. And then I'm going to put the wallpaper over it and then hold on to the wallpaper. And then I'm going to sort of feel for the corners of the plug. So I'm going to feel for the corners of the plug. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mark on each corner. And I'm going to do another one there. And then another. That's the corner there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pencil. I'm going to do a cross. So I'm going to join those together across like that, so that they're joined together like that. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut with my knife and my scissors. So I'm just going to cut through just to start it off with my knife, because it's quite strong, this stuff. It doesn't rip. So you have to sort of have a sharp knife. Then I'm going to cut through with my scissors up to the corner. And I'm going to do the other one up to the corner like that. So I'm making a sort of cross like this. There. So now you can see I've got like a sort of flap thing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the sort of pointy bits off the cross bits. I'm going to cut the pointy bits off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of put my hand underneath and I'm going to sort of try and sort of carefully bring the plug through. So it's like that. So it's sitting like that now. So I can see that it's, and then I can smooth the wallpaper around it and make sure I've got my edges all okay and my seams. And then I'm going to cut across the bottom. But I have to be careful with this bit of wallpaper because I've got a reveal. So I'm only going to cut to the end of this bit here because I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the next corner. So I'm just going to cut this off, press hard, and then I'm going to cut an angle across like that because I need it for when I turn the corner because I've got another reveal that I've got to do. So now what we need to do is push the switch into the hole and back into the screw holes, and then we just screw that on. And that is how you do a switch or a socket. And that's really neat and tidy, and it wasn't stressful because it's just simple, just cutting it out. And there we are. So that's how we do the second piece of wallpaper, and we've done a plug. So it looks really good now.